Hi, we're Ron and Malin Green. We serve in Southeast Asia. Right now we're in North Dakota, but we were supposed to come back in May to bring our daughter Emily back for her to start college. With the type of visa that we're on though, we have to physically leave the country every 60 days. This year we're approaching our 60 days to leave. The countries around us closed for people to come, and so we moved up our tickets to come back to the States for a week from when we were, and thought that was going to be good, but then more things happened. Transit closed for some countries, so we immediately left our country and flew to Minot, North Dakota, and picked up a car here, and we're doing our self-isolation here while we're figuring out where we'll go next.
Well, we wanted to share a little bit about what we're doing in Southeast Asia and a little bit about who we serve in Southeast Asia. We feel it's really important the people that we serve, they're in isolated areas, often impoverished areas, and with the virus we feel like they're quite vulnerable for a number of reasons. They have a poor nutrition, their diet is not as diverse as people might be accustomed to in the States. They don't have health care, and because of the smog that covered that region for several months this past year and other years, all of their lungs are compromised, and also they lack access to clean water. And I think that the ability to wash your hands at this time is very difficult for a lot of people, and one of our ministries is bringing clean water to people, and so it's very important getting them access to clean water even at this time. So Ron is going to share a little bit about that ministry that we do with clean water.
Our clean water team, we have two national workers. They're both seminary trained. We're really fortunate to have them and to be able to work with them, and they run our clean water program, and they work with the villages. The villages invite them to come, and we go out and we work with the village to build clean water systems. Our systems are very low tech. We use a small pump to pump the water up into a holding tank. From the holding tank, it goes into gravity flow. From there, it goes through 3 tanks full of gravel that we can back flush, and those tanks get out most of the sediment. The water's clear by the time it comes through those tanks. From there, it goes into a slow sand filter, and the sand filter is actually a biological filter. The good bacteria that grows on the sand actually eats the bad bacteria as it passes through the sand filter. From the sand filter, it goes through a charcoal filter, which originally we thought it was just going to help with the flavor of the water, but actually what it's doing is it's absorbing chemicals that are in the water. We know there's naturally occurring arsenic in the water, and we can test for that, and we know it gets all of it out. We believe that there's other chemicals as well that we're getting out through that charcoal filter. And then from there it goes into a large holding tank, and that's where the community comes and gets the clean water. Currently we're building 9 new systems. We have 5 of those systems. The towers have been built and have been delivered, and the villages have built the foundations. From there, we also have 4 other systems where the towers are currently being built, and unfortunately due to the coronavirus, this last week we've had to stop construction on the new filters. The team will continue to get materials ready for when things open back up, but right now the villages are self-quarantining, and they're asking that no one from the outside come into those villages because they realize that they are very vulnerable. With these systems, it's also important that our team works with the village all the way through. They work with them. The village asks them to come, and then they work with them through the process of planning, and then in actually building the water filtration systems. And then after they've been installed, the team continues to go back, and they work with the village on teaching about the importance of clean water, and they help with any maintenance issues that come up on the system, and they continue to build relationships in the village. And it's through those relationships that then they can also share about their faith.
Another ministry that we're involved with is a church start that is out at the demonstration farm. We're very excited about this. We're doing this, our foundation is doing this in partnership with our local church, and it's wonderful to be able to work with people that are equally as passionate about reaching out into those communities. We meet every other Sunday out at the demonstration farm for a service, and every other time that we meet, either the church in town will lead or the new church will lead. And it's exciting to see how people are involved and taking leadership in that. Even the last time we were there, one of the men thanked us for that had been formed, because it gave their family an opportunity to worship that they did not have before in that area where the demonstration farm is.
We also had our second Christmas program at the farm this past year.
A lot of people came, even people from the majority faith in our country. So it was a good time of sharing and with people of a different faith. And we're looking forward to next year for that program as well. And our hope is that we're reaching out to the people in the communities and villages near the farm that are Christian but don't have a place to worship. But then beyond that is reaching out to the other people that are in the villages and sharing the hope and love of Christ. They too, we hope and dream for the future that they'll also be a part of that community and church.
The agricultural demonstration farm is, we have 7.5 hectares, which is, I think it's about 18 acres. And we're trying to demonstrate sustainable farming methods to the local farmers. This is an area that is extremely difficult for agriculture. It's close to the equator, close to sea level, a huge amount of rain, and very hot and humid. So a lot of crops don't do well, and things that have been developed in other areas further from the equator or higher elevations that work well may or may not work very well in our area, and if they do, we generally get much lower results than in other locations. So we want to demonstrate these things to the farmers, and we spent a lot of time trying different things to find things that will work before the farmers will try them. Currently, one of the major things that we're working with is biochar, and we make the biochar out of a mixture of rice hulls and chicken manure, and we mix that with cattle manure, and that provides a large portion of our fertilizer, but also we've been encouraging some other farmers to try it as well. We also have a small beef herd. We sell some bulls every year, but we also have some breeding animals. And what we're trying to do is to have this be a place where the farmers can learn more sustainable farming practices, where they can see these practices in place before they try them on their own farms. And they're very hesitant to try new things because it's such a high risk for them if it doesn't work. They know basically how their things are going to work that they're already doing. New things can be much more difficult or much more challenging for them because just the things that they don't know about. The current situation with the farm is it's been under a lot of stress the last couple of years. Crop prices have fallen drastically. Even for these small farmers in third world countries, world markets make a big difference. And the world market price of rubber dropped by about 2/3. So a lot of trees have been cut and planted to other things, and the local market hasn't been able to absorb that. And then with the coronavirus, it's gotten even worse as factories have shut down around the world, so those prices are is almost no value to the rubber at all, and so it sped up the trees that are being cut and planted to other crops.
With you, we are bringing Christ to the unreached and unseen in Southeast Asia. We thank you for being a part of these kingdom ministries and making these ministries possible.
And we thank you for your prayers, your encouragement, and your support. You really are making a difference. Bye.